Hey guys, so just want to make a quick little video about uh, body mass for throwers. And this is a very touchy subject for some people, and some people just don't care. But I think it's a subject that needs to be um, talked about. So, first, we're just going to explain, why certain body mass is good and why a certain body mass is not. So, in general, being heavier as a thrower is usually better unless you're a javelin thrower. Um, so you usually tend to see different body compositions depending on which throwing event you do. So shot putters in general are a lot more husky, generally look more like lumberjacks. Where like you look at them like or like the bouncer kind of build where like they're humongous, but like they're not like defined and stuff. Like they don't look like bodybuilders, but you can just look at them and be like, yeah, they're strong. They're big and strong. So, um, where you see like discus throwers, they're usually a little more leaner, um, and don't have as big of a gut. And you see like a hammer thrower, generally have big butts, and kind of look like shot putters, but um, a little more like leaner in the upper body, kind of like a little smaller. It's different. Like you can just look at different hammer throwers and stuff. Um, but generally, like you can tell which event someone does relatively easily. Obviously, it's very easy to spot out a javelin thrower compared to the other throwers because they're usually the smallest ones. If you put like a shot putter, discus thrower, and hammer thrower, and a javelin thrower in a line, you could probably tell which one's the jav thrower. So, why is this? Why are there different body compositions? Well, one, for hammer and shot put, generally they're the heaviest events in terms of you're throwing a heavier implement. So mass moves mass. I know that's kind of cliche to say, but generally the reason you see heavier people throw shot put and hammer is because if you throw a 16-pound shot and you weigh 100 pounds, that shot put's just gonna throw you. I don't care like how strong you are. It's just you just don't have the mass to move. Like the lightest I've ever seen like a good thrower is this guy Zane Weir, and he's like 260. Adam Nelson as well, and they're both 22-meter throwers. But like 260 for the general population is still pretty big. For shot putters, that's like very light, very on the light side for a male shot putter that throw 22 plus meters. Um, but and then for the woman, it's the same thing except you can be a little skinnier as a woman just because you know, you're throwing a 4K hammer, a 4K shot put. It doesn't really take that much. I mean, you still got to be kind of heavy, but yeah, you don't have to be like 300 plus pounds like a man. Like, not saying that men do, but like you generally see a lot of shot putters going to like the 300-pound plus range, or like at least like 280 pounds plus, but a little leaner. It just depends. But there is a caveat with that. So like you look at someone like let's just say Valerie Adams, um, who is a 21 meter, who was a 21 meter shot putter for women. You look at her and she's like 6'4", like I think like 260 or 280, and you look at her, it's like, oh, that's a big girl, and stuff. But the thing is, actually, no. Let me bring up Michelle Carter. That's a way better example, actually. Sorry. Um, Michelle Carter, like she's a little husky, like Um, I don't think I hope I don't offend anybody that say that, but she's not like a skinny woman. Um, but you look at her and you'd be like, ah, she can't throw over 20 meters. There's no way. Like she couldn't move. And then you watch her lift and she has like a 500 plus pound squat and like she's crazy strong. So the thing is, you got to be strong enough to move the mass that you are. So say you're like 260 pounds, all right, but you can only squat like 225. That's not a good power to weight ratio. And you're probably going to move very slow, and you're not going to move very efficiently, and you're probably going to get a lot of joint pain because, you just don't have the muscle to actually move that weight around. And it's probably not good weight. All right. So, in general, so you see someone like Joe Kovacs for extreme. He has like 1,000 pound squat, and he's like 350 pounds or something. So, because he has such a high squat, he can move 350 pounds like he's not like it's nothing. Like he's like an Olympic sprinter. Like he's so fast in the ring. But if other people if you have like a 400-pound squat, but you're 350 pounds, you're not going to be able to move like that. It's just impossible. Like you just can't. So you see someone like Zane Weir, who's like 260. He's obviously very strong, but the reason why he's so fast in the ring is because he barely has any fat on his body. So it's a lot easier for him to move. So it's different components. You tend to see the lighter shot putters, they tend not to be like very fat. Like, you look at like Adam Nelson, and what I don't mean like fat. No elite shot putter is like actually fat. They're like they're some of the best athletes in the world. But I mean, like, you look at like Reese Hoffa or like like other guys. They tend to have like kind of like bellies and stuff, but you look at like their arms and their legs, and there's really barely any fat. There's still some, but like they carry it in like their torso and stuff. So it's just different. Plus everyone looks different. Everyone will throw far at different weights. Everyone will throw far where fat is different. Like, people are genetically prone. Some people carry fat more in their butt. Some people carry fat more in their like chest. Some people carry fat more in their belly, or a combination of all. Or, that's just genetic stuff that I don't want to get into because I don't want to stay here for hours and give a genetics lesson. I don't think you guys want to spend time hearing me talk about that. So for shot putters, the rule of thumb is usually, and I guess for all athletes, you look at really big athletes that move really well, is because they are enormously strong. All right. So the rule of thumb is basically you need to squat more than your body weight. That's kind of a given, but if you squat less than your body weight, that's a negative power to weight ratio. If you squat the same as your body weight, you just move. But if you squat higher than your body weight, generally you'll move a lot better. And I just use squat because, that's just the general driver of leg strength in athletics. So I just use that. So, but you also got to learn to be light on your feet to protect your joints. The heavier you are, the more you got to think about protecting your joints and all that. So you might have to like change your training and stuff and all that, depending on like your body weight. If you're like 300 pounds, and you're weak, you're going to have a lot of joint pain because you don't have the muscles to actually stabilize your joints. So, especially knees. So you tend to see like Shaquille O'Neal, for example, like when he got super fat later in his career, or like Yao Ming, like because they're so tall and they're so humongous, and they didn't take care of themselves really. Well, Yao Ming's a little different, but Shaq, like, he didn't really take care of himself, so he started developing a chronic knee pain and all that, just because like you just will if you just don't take care of your joints at that body weight, at that height. All right, so that's something that keep in mind as well. And these same rules apply, like discus throwers, they don't need to be as heavy, like they don't need to have as much mass and stuff because, the discus, at the end of the day, only weighs 2 kilos compared to, 16 pounds. 2 kilos isn't really that much. And for the woman especially, like you can see really skinny women that aren't very big, like Valerie Allman. She's big and muscular, but like she's not like very like big in terms of weight. Like, she's kind of skinny, but she could still throw 71 meters, And you see like the German woman that just won I think silver at Indoor Worlds. I forget her name. she's not like the biggest woman in the world when you compare to like Sarah Min and Chase Ely and stuff. You know, it's like but she still threw 20 meters. So like it's different body compositions you see usually for women and men. Like women hammer throwers, like they're big, but like they're not like crazy humongous. Where like you see like the shot putters, they're usually a little bigger. Um, but jab throwers are way different. They gotta be lean. They gotta be built more like a triple jumper, like a hybrid between like a triple jumper and a sprinter usually. Like really lean but like bigger usually because being like bigger and carrying around a little more fat affects your mobility. Now every thrower's got to be mobile, but jab throwers especially have to be super mobile. So, it's just got to be you just got to be careful and stuff and but as long as you can move your body weight injury free, fast and efficiently into those positions that you need to hit, I would say you're at the right body weight. And when you're like still experimenting in your body weight, you just got to find what body weight works for you, and stuff. So, you could find out that you might not throw very far with a higher body weight. You may not throw far with a lower body weight, or vice versa. So, you just got to experiment. So it's a touchy subject, but you just gotta. It does affect performance, whether it's a touchy subject or not. So at the end of the day, just keep an eye on that. You know, so I know like the stereotype is throwers are like fat and lazy and don't really run. But if you look at like elite throwers, they're honestly probably the most athletic people besides like decathletes and heptathletes on a track team, because you're heavier than basically every event. You gotta basically have the explosiveness of a 100-meter runner. You gotta be able to jump far and high. You gotta be super explosive. You gotta be super light on your feet. Really mobile, and have good body awareness and reaction time and coordination. So, I mean, you basically got to be a very, very ultimate athlete to actually throw far. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Like, at the end of the day, you are still elite athletes, or like you are still in a very elite sport. It is an Olympic sport, and you don't really see many like fat Olympians usually. But yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, so hope this video helps some people. Hope it probably offended some people, but whatever. I can't help you guys. Oh well, see you guys, and thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it.